It's party time, everyone! We have XLord against Spiral. Yeah, when Tauren are standing all the way up to the top left in the first game of the best of 3 here in the round of 8 of the Endgame Gear Masters. We have Spiral, the last orc in the bracket apparently, and he goes up against none other than Mr. 5-0 himself, XLord, all the way down at the bottom right of the map. And it's going to be pretty fun here. The shit talk has started in the lobby between the two of them already, and it's just continuing here the entire time. XLord obviously just saying that he's already afraid because he's going up against the Orc. I think he's mostly afraid because it's going to be difficult for him to get a 5-0 through in a best of 3, but we'll see how that pans out. Either way, we are in the round of 8. The Endgame Gear Masters, the first qualifier, is continuing. And obviously both of the players here have already gathered a few points through the qualifier here by reaching the round of 8. But you want to go all the way to the grand final. You want to make sure that you get as many points as possible for those standings so that you have a pretty safe position in order to gain a slot for the final event and then at the end also attend the offline final. Farsia first, the man with the underbite, already brought into the play. Then again, that's probably true for all orcs out there. It's not really the most descriptive statement that I just pulled. But in case that you haven't really looked too much at this, on the 17th of August, which is a Saturday, we have the offline final. The 4 best players of the tournament are going to make it to that grand final in Osnabrück, in the esports factory. And it should be a pretty amazing day. A lot of WarCraft 3, the players on site. I'm going to be on site myself as well. Barbecue in the evening. It's going to be a fun day with a lot of WarCraft 3. So if you live in the area, definitely make sure that you check it out. And yep. There we go. Alright, so Spiral apparently is already looking at this and is saying like, well, he was a little bit worried about a potential race change here at some point because of the map videos that we've seen here, and especially the Tauren stand, so the Orc already slightly scared. But here comes the quick move of the Scout Acolyte straight into the creep camp. But the last hit actually went through, and he gets it. The 25 experience for Spiral. Okay, someone's off to a good start. Obviously, we have the Death Knight on the other side, already with a couple of items. While we are seeing the Gauntlet of Augure's Strength for the DK, we have the Claws of Attack here for the Farseer. And again, good damage for the range. But I'm actually pretty happy that we're catching this game. Spiral had apparently a really good run in the tournament thus far, but we didn't really get a chance to commentate and cast his games yet. So now we have one Orc player that is making it this deep. And let's see if he can take XLord down. He's definitely taking a couple of really strong contenders down in the past, White and Nerdy just being one of them. But let's see if he can pull that off against XLord. And, well, for now, also, again, the notice, this is a best of 3. This is map number 1, so I would not mind a 3-mapper here between the two of them, I can tell you that much. Down at the bottom right, as you would expect, we already have the tag into the Necropolis straight away. In the Orc base, shocking, the Great Hall tag, who would have expected that? Nobody is going for a tier 1 strategy here. And, well, we're having the Farseer by now also with the healing salves, of course, trying to make sure that he keeps his grunts in order. Keep the grunts healthy. And an apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's pretty much what we're going for here. This is applesauce, which they have in that little pot. The Death Knight, with an attempt to maybe even steal the Circle of Mobility, I would say that's probably not going to happen. But the Farseer gets actually trapped. Or does he? An attempt to block himself a path free thanks to the wolves. That didn't quite work out. Well, it actually kind of worked after the skeleton was taken apart. The problem is that there will be a TP or a dead Farseer. One of the two. Make your choice. With a Farseer on level 2, that town portal was a good investment. If it is a level 1 hero, there's always the argument, what do you really want to do? Do you just accept that the hero dies and just give over those few experience points to your opponent while reviving the hero real quickly? Because if you just think about the cost in gold, it is actually more expensive to buy yourself a new town portal than reviving a level 1 hero. But since the Farseer was already level 2, that question wasn't even an issue. So that was already a great start here. XLord still has to pause the game here, so apparently a little bit of a problem for him. Maybe a bit of a victory dance after he just forced the town portal. We don't know at this point. But he is definitely off to quite a good start here. Forcing the town portal was kind of important. His own Death Knight is only on level 1 compared to the Farseer, which has reached level 2 and therefore added the Chain Lightning to his repertoire. But we'll see how exactly the late game is going to pan out here. And if that town portal that he just was able to force is going to have more consequences later on if you can maybe catch the Orc player at any point during this game during a creep. And we're back to business as we have our little setup here. First Fiend is joining the fun, and in the meantime obviously Farseer is already creeping. Potion of Greater Healing. Not really a bad item if you are looking to dodge some of those early deaths because of a Coil and Nova combo. As we've seen in one of the previous games, when XLord played against Death Note, that can end the game quite quickly. The problem is if you're losing your main hero to a combo like that in an early fight, then you're going to lose way more than that, simply because the Unholy Aura on the side of the Death Knight already speeds up the Undead army, and therefore they can give chase. But if there's also Lich in the mix with additional mana, you can just easily drop one Nova after another and slow the units down even further, and then just annihilate the entire army as they're trying to retreat. So a kill against the first hero with the Town Portal is always a huge problem. Now in this case, the Town Portal has obviously been used already, but will be bought at some point again. The Farseer is currently on level 2, nearly 3, and should reach that additional level in just a few seconds. But having that additional Greater Healing Potion is always fantastic, and this is going to make it much easier for him to keep the hero alive during the team fight. A bit of scouting is always going on there with the Wolves. We have by now the Halls of the Dead added into an additional attack straight into the Black Citadel, and the Lich is coming in as the second hero, whereas traditionally we have for Spiral as the second hero, the Tauren Chieftain, obviously. So yeah, gonna go for a little bit of a stomp action, is what we can expect here. The first skill, first talent is obviously gonna be the Endurance Aura. So relying on that, gets in terms of items the Ring of Regeneration for the frontline hero here. We're having the Belt of Giant Strength for the Death Knight. And he has actually a lot of really cool items at this point if you're just trying to boost your main attribute. I mean, we're talking about, first of all, the Gauntlet of August Strength. We're talking about the Belt of Giant Strength. That's +9 already on Strength alone, which gives us 1,025 hit points for that bad boy and additional damage too. Now, a fair amount of those items is going to be passed over towards the Lich, as we already mentioned previously. If you have a ranged hero, you want to usually pass on those items for extra damage. And also the Gloves of Haste. That's a problem right now, and that could be a dead Farseer. That Death Knight is on level 3. He has enough mana for Coil. Oh, but the Scroll of Speed keeps him alive. There's still obviously the threat of a quick Nova, and that's exactly why the Farseer used that Potion of Greater Healing anyways. But still trying to arrest the shit out of XLord right now. But he has also the Lich in play, and there's already the Claws of Attack given over. Claws of Attack +6 and +9, so that's decent damage for him. Orb of Corruption is going to pan through later too. And I guess we're going to see the Gloves of Haste taken over there as well. Yep, they're going to try and get the damage in. Coil Nova. Oh, the Farseer. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude, but you're down. That coil is going to hit you hard. He is at 70, he needs 75, 72, 3, 4, and goodbye, Farseer. There we go, that's the kill right there. Little bit too greedy at that point. Was hoping probably to get a Chain Lightning through onto the Mercenary, onto the creep there, to make sure that he gets the experience for it. But yep, that Coil Nova combo is the bread and butter of any Undead army, and that was just enough to take the hero down. We are having an expansion attempt on the other hand from Spiral. So while the Farseer was starting to get a little bit cheeky at the bottom right of the map, the Tauren Chieftain has started to do some serious work and has now reached level 3 himself, which means that his Stomp is going to be upgraded to level 2. It's going to be incredibly helpful when he starts to go with the Scroll of Speed into the backline and tries to attack the Fiends there. The expansion is obviously helping as well. And XLord doesn't really know a whole lot of what's going on up there right now. I mean, he can suspect, obviously. We have the Reinforced Defense being upgraded now too for the Orc player. But XLord has a level 3 Death Knight, has, as expected, passed over the Gloves of Haste, and now the Orb of Corruption onto the Lich. And in addition to that, we are also seeing the Mantle of Intelligence, which leaves us with a Lich that is currently looking at a decent 23 additional auto attack damage, which is pretty incredible, honestly. So yeah, he's going to do a whole lot of work with that. In terms of supply, we're seeing XLord at 38 against the 45 that Spiral is currently controlling. And despite the fact that his Farseer has fallen, I gotta admit, he has a pretty solid army there. I mean, we're talking about a Khaldor in the mix, we're talking about decent supply numbers. The Tauren Chieftain is just starting to creep the entire map, and XLord obviously knows that he's a little bit on a timer right now, and is starting to move in. Ooh, sexy! Mana Stone! Alright! So we are actually going to see him with a potential additional mana for a few more War Storms. That guy is going to be an absolute beast if XLord cannot focus him down. That's the third hero coming now into action, and that's the Dark Ranger. Potion of Greater Mana. Tauren Chieftain is not the only one who can now rely on a much bigger mana pool. Items are being bought there as well. Town Portal already in the midst, and with those first raiders, we're actually seeing an attack down here at the bottom of the map. And XLord, what is he gonna do now? He already used the Wand of Illusion. He's trying to go for the expansion, but at the same time, his main base is getting attacked. The Farseer is now on the move as well. And there's the Town Portal. XLord has to back off, and this is honestly a super annoying situation for him now. For Spiral, this is fantastic. He arrives at the bottom right just as XLord is planning his big attack on the expansion, and he can force the Town Portal. XLord has to move back, can't really do a whole lot, which gives the Orc player enough time to first of all build a watchtower, and in addition to that, obviously now save his expansion for a little bit longer. Khaldor goes down. Nicely done. So that one worked, but with the Khaldor being eliminated, that's at least a little bit of a win for XLord. Still, there's more time now for Spiral as he has 50 supply, but XLord is obviously on the move now. With all the little time that the Orc player bought for himself, XLord is still eager to attack that expansion. He can't leave it in play for too much longer. 50 supply against 54. The Orc player already going into the low upkeep here, and is busying himself at the shop trying to buy a couple of additional items. Would especially benefit, of course, with the Scroll of Healing. Even Potion of Lesser Invulnerability would be great for him, but he has the Potion of Healing, at least for his Tauren Chieftain. And here comes the party time, already moving in with a quick Call Nova attempt, trying to go straight for the first raider, and that one's down. Double upgrade for the Undead player. 4 and 3 for Death Knight and Lich at this point, and they're starting to go in. Spiral with one stomp after another, stomping the shit out of the backline of the Undead army and trying to get those Fiends down. 49 supply now against 48, and a big battle raging over that position here. The silence comes through as the Dark Ranger is trying to be useful as well. Another raider falling, but the statue has also gone down. And all of a sudden, we're having a couple of Wyvern, a couple of Wind Rider joining the fun here as Spiral is at 47 supply and just pumping out units one after another. The experience that we're seeing for the Undead player is starting to become a bit of a problem on the other hand. We're already talking about a level 2 Dark Ranger here. Well, we're still seeing the Tauren Chieftain on level 3, hasn't reached level 4 yet. There's still the attempt to fall back a little bit and use also the base for the defense, especially, of course, that Orc Burrow and the turret. They're trying to make the play for the Lich. The Raider survives. Nice stomp here from the TC. But the coil is ready. The Death Knight still with a lot of mana on his hand and still has a Potion of Greater Healing too, which you could pass over at any point in time. But here comes the attack again, and the Tauren Chieftain is still looking at that Mana Stone that he has. So XLord needs to be careful with this. He's trying to kite. He's trying to use that Unholy Aura speed advantage against his opponent. Drops one of the grunts already. The 2 destroyers that we have definitely in a great spot, and the Antia is getting taken down pretty quickly. Level 4 Tauren Chieftain as we have 40 supply on the side of Spiral, 46 for XLord, but this expansion is still running. We're still having an expansion attempt on the other side of the map too, though. XLord already realizing that he might just not be able to break through all of this immediately, is attempting to get another source of income as well. Spiral is still waiting for some additional units. He's trying to go straight in with the Scroll of Speed. Once again into the backline, waiting for that stomp already. Here comes the quick move with Raider, trying to lock the units down here with the Ensnare. They're trying to go for the next... Oh, they're actually getting one of the Fiends. Yep, nice stomp against the Death Knight. Couldn't get those Death Coils through this time. Another one on the other hand gets saved. And again, Spiral trying to micro a couple of the units out of the fight here as we are seeing another stomp against the Death Knight. Trying to prevent those coils one after another. The Lich all of a sudden in trouble too. Gets the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability through though. And the Potion of Greater Healing is obviously still there as well. XLord pumping more units out. 49 supply for him right now. 40 for Spiral. Still relying onto the expansion. But XLord at the bottom of the map is nearly done with the Haunted Gold Mine here. And then he will have a 2 base income too. So far, it's looking good for the Undead player. He has a level 4, level 3, and level 2 hero. And while that Tauren Chieftain is starting to become a nuisance with level 4. We're still seeing the Farseer half a level away from reaching the next level up. Another quick frost armor here on the Fiend. Can he get the dare coil through? No, he cannot. The pressure again on the Death Knight. Every single time a unit is about to be taken down, now we're having a statue fall as well. Spiral is fighting for every single inch of the map now. 42 against 43 supply between the two of them. And XLord needs to be careful now. He's heavily relying on the heroes, obviously. And that's traditional for any Undead player. More statues being built over there in the base. We have, again, more items also being bought on the side of Spiral. Moving in again with another attempt to make the play. One Raider down. They're trying to go straight in for the Lich and forcing him. Mana is low. Mana is actually really low at this point, but the Lich has already the potion of greater healing, so he can use that at any point in time. Here comes the quick stun. Can they get the kill? No! The Chain Lightning was good, but it wasn't good enough. The Lich gets the potion of greater healing. The Dark Ranger is already on the run, level 3 for her, and those high-level heroes that we're soon going to see on the side of the Undead player might become a problem. Nice micro here, good catch by XLord, just as the Destroyer moves straight into the structures. Dark Ranger on the retreat, but the expansion is up. Expansion is up for XLord, only 4 Acolytes, but the 5th one is being built as we speak. And now all the way to the top, the Farseer obviously looking for some additional experience. Tauren Chieftain would also love to have a level 5 here, but this is still a far way off. Death Knight then again. That bad boy is going to have that level 3 coil fairly soon. So what we're currently seeing in terms of experience is a real problem for Spiral. Level 5 Death Knight with a level 2 coil behind it is a huge issue. 23 additional attack damage that we're seeing is another big problem. Boots of Khaldor, primary attribute of the Dark Ranger, so could pass that on to her if you really wanted to. More experience topside now as he's trying to go for that setup. And here comes also with the Healing Wards, another item with a bit more sustain if he's not taken down right away. Level 4 Farseer. Again the attack, the Coil Nova immediately used against those Raiders. Chain Lightning coming in. Again the Storm as we're seeing more units coming through here. Healing Wards in the back doing a fantastic job. Not taken down by XLord just now, but another Coil Nova combo takes another Raider down. Mana is starting to become a huge problem then again. And there's the kill against the Dark Ranger as we have Spiral going straight for the hero, going for the jugular and taking the Dark Ranger down. All of a sudden 45 supply against 46, pretty much dead even there. And the Farseer still on the chase, was hoping to go straight in for another destroyer, but couldn't deliver the final blow here. At this point, XLord on the retreat as the Orc is slowly making his way in. And that destroyer with 22 hit points is still able to get away. No vision right now, but here come the Wolves. Experience obviously dropping now also into the hands of Spiral. He's at 50 supply, not going into the low upkeep. XLord has crossed over already a while ago. In terms of upgrades, we don't see too much for him either. One attack upgrade for those Fiends is currently all that he has, and both of them retreating, not trying to go straight in for the next fight. It is a problem though, because Spiral has 1,500 gold. He is a little bit low when it comes to lumber, but he's going to try and deal with that soon. And 2 Acolytes missing at the gold mine here doesn't really bode well for XLord either. That is a problem. He's rebuilding them now, but especially once that we're having high-level heroes on the side of the Orc player, that is going to become a very familiar picture. Since those level 3 wolves are always a pain in the ass, and as soon as they are sneaking in here, they can just take those down pretty easily. That's why there's another Ziggurat now being upgraded as we speak. Vision has obviously already been granted. I mean, those 2 Acolytes didn't just quit their job or anything. Nope. Those were taken down pretty easily there by a couple of wolves. And here comes the attack again. And right now, the Orc is starting to become a huge problem. 52 supply against 65. Spiral is looking great here. Bought himself a Shredder because he wants to get rid of those resources. Going straight in for that Lich again. Trying to go for the surround here. Death Knight again out of mana. And that's a massive issue because all of a sudden the Lich is again being surrounded. They're trying to go straight in for those Destroyers too. And the Lich is in trouble. Another Stomp from the Tauren Chieftain. That bad boy is on level 5. And a huge force to be reckoned with here. Wyvern are joining the fun. The Wind Riders are in play. Another Fiend goes down, and XLord is losing ground, and he's losing it quickly. 41 supply for him against 67. And still, we're having Spiral with all the gold in the world. He's just waiting for the Shredder to finally do his job so that he can get rid of the gold too. And without mana, XLord has a problem. He only has a single statue here. He needs mana. He needs to top off that mana pool, or those heroes are pretty much useless. Level 5 finally for the Farseer. Another big Storm coming through. go. The Potion of Lesser Invulnerability already used on the side of the Lich, and now the focus is starting to shift a little bit onto the Death Knight, who's getting pressured as well. XLord down to 41, holding on for dear life as we have 70 supply for Spiral, and the Orc player is looking better and better in this game. Has a massive army right now, is using it already. In terms of items, he can still rely on one of those healing wards. Has a potion of healing in the inventory of both heroes, and XLord is just looking to see if he can maybe put those undead heroes to good use and slowly and steadily snipe away at the Orc army. But it's going to be tough, if not impossible at that. I mean, right now the base is still running quite well. In the main base, we're also seeing upgrades coming through at this point. More creep camps are taken on the map with the Tauren Chieftain on level 5.5, and the Farseer also on level 5. You don't even get any experience there anymore. It's all about the gold, all about the items. 78 supply, and Spiral is looking fantastic right now. XLord, he has the level 5 Death Knight, has the Scroll of Healing here, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability again on the Lich, but the Lich is still half a level away from level 5. There is no level 3 Nova in his near future. We have Banshees joining the fun now too for the Curse, but things are definitely starting to become quite difficult for XLord. He needs to build up an army big enough to somehow contest this Orc force. And he has the gold. He's actually sitting at 1,000 gold right now and also 400 lumber. So it's not really too bad. Just, well, honestly, he was in a much worse spot earlier. He dropped down to 38 supply and Spiral nearly doubled his supply numbers there. The Tauren Chieftain, then again, has now also a potion of greater healing. And if that bad boy wasn't already tough enough to take down, then this is not going to make things easier for XLord at all. Yeah, high-level TCs are a bit of a problem, but so are Death Knights. If he has a high mana pool and can start to just shell out all of those Death Coils and a couple of Novas to follow up from the Lich, and there's always a chance. Another expansion is soon going to be built too by Spiral, as he's already setting the first Watchtower into play over here. Can also shut down any expansion attempts, of course, from his opponent, and he is building Watchtowers on both bases at this point. But he's also starting to slowly move in here. He's still amassing gold, doesn't cross over into the high upkeep, and the magic shells are being built here immediately, making sure that there is no additional effect, especially from the chain lightning, of course, to follow up with a quick kill against one of the heroes. And Spiral is giving XLord the respect that he deserves. So he's not trying to YOLO in onto the expansion or anything. He's not going to suicide into the undead player here. This is definitely two players that respect each other quite a bit. And at this point, XLord is trying to fight his way back into this one. 66 supply for him. It looked bad for him for a long time, but he's slowly coming back into this. Up to the top. The ghouls just arriving in time to shut down that attempt to build up a turret there. So that worked out for him. And this is only game 1. This is only the first game in a best-of-3 series. So we could see 3 games of that caliber. I would not object to that. In terms of upgrades, we have now with the mass focus onto the Headhunters, the +2 attack upgrade completed. The Raiders themselves don't have a single upgrade yet, but, well, they definitely have the Ensnare ready. And all of the ghouls are taken down, so that supply is opened up for XLord to get whatever he wants into the mix. Down at the bottom of the map, we have another turret taken down, and the Peon is also eliminated, with the Necropolis already being built. Obviously, both of the players are currently thinking about adding another gold mine, especially since in the main base, for both of them, the gold mines have already been depleted. No more upgrades. Actually, I'm lying. We have the armor upgrades coming in and also another attack upgrade now on the side of the Orc player. If you're looking over to XLord, he has 2 attack upgrades on the Fiend, so he's definitely trying to bring the pain with those too. And we're having a few more upgrades. Banshees are joining the fun. No more upgrades right now. A couple of ghouls are being employed here too. Do we have, in terms of items, a tiny great hall? Yes, we do. Farseer has one. It's already bringing it over. And Spiral has now 77 supply. It's actually kind of funny how this has panned out so far. At the beginning, it was really XLord applying the pressure and trying to break through the expansion. Couldn't quite make it happen. Build up his own second base. And for a long time, it seemed as if Spiral might be able to just break XLord. He applied so much pressure. Honestly, you could have birthed a couple new diamonds right there. And XLord somehow was able to hold on despite the fact that he was running out of mana on all of his heroes. It's just intimidating going up against an undead base, and for good reason. You don't really want to go too deep into this. It's incredibly dangerous, and Spiral knew about this as well. You can always make the argument that maybe he had an opportunity here to end the game a little bit earlier. but he decided to play this a bit safer, and now he finds himself in a spot where he definitely has the upgrades. He is in a great position with 2 high-level heroes, but he always has to be worried about the Farseer in particular. Doesn't have a potion of lesser invulnerability for the hero just yet. Well, that's actually one for the Tauren Chieftain. Very likely to bring this one over. And is putting his money to also a bit of good use. If you have enough money on the bank, then buy yourself something shiny. In this case, we're gonna get the Orb of Lightning for him. So another attack down here at the bottom now. Expansions for both players. Tiny Great Hall was already put into place up towards the top. And with the first Abominations joining the fun, here's the action now. Silence on the Tauren Chieftain immediately. Counters it with the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. And that Abom didn't really do a whole lot. Nope, gets focused down immediately. No chance lands. One Wind Rider down, but here comes the TC with another quick War Storm. Going straight into the action. 73 supply right now against 66. XLord needs to be careful here. Once again, we're having also the Spirit Walkers coming straight in with the Spirit Link, trying to put that to good use. And it's difficult, of course, with all those Scrolls of Healings that have been bought earlier for the Undead to kill anything right now. Those Headhunters are absolutely murdering right now. The Troll Berserker is going to town and the quick portal on the Death Knight with 15 HP. Unbelievable. XLord saves the DK just as the Orc player is about to murder him. Now, on the other hand, he has to give up the base that he built down here, and Spiral, with all the momentum that he has, goes through that base like a hot butter through cheese. Takes him down 5.5 on the Death Knight, but look at that TC. We have level 6 on the Tauren Chieftain at this point, and that monster is just absolutely going to wreck it. Has the Ankh right now, has the Reincarnation. The Farseer is on level 5, nearly level 6 as well. The fight once again starting up here. 73 supply on the side of XLord. On the side of XLord, 51 on the side of Spiral. He has a 20 supply surplus. Chain Lightning coming through again. The Nova into the backline. And here's the level 6 Farseer. Immediately, 3 Wolves, 3 Chain Lightning. They're trying to make the play right now. Spiral is looking fantastic. XLord in trouble, but the Dark Ranger on level 4, trying to go for the hero kills right now. Need to be a little bit careful. Finally, the Lich on level 5 as well. The level 3 Nova might be able to turn the tides of the battle here. Oh, the Dark Ranger! And the Coil saves her for now. Another Raider goes down. More skeletons, more Dark Minions ready to join the fun here. XLord on 30 supply, but the heroes are still there. Spiral has fallen down to 47. This isn't over by any means, but mana is starting to become a little bit low for XLord. There's the Hex as the third hero comes in. The Shadow Hunter! And XLord rushing away, trying to play Ring Around the Rosy. Turns around, gets the potion, stays alive for a little bit longer, wants to make the play for the triple hero. Can't just get it, has the Dark Ritual and uses it immediately. Absolutely insane aid fight. The Hex is in again, and the Tauren Chieftain blocked by the statue as we have a couple of Taurens joining the fight too. The Death Knight! 4 hit points! The Wolves come in, and that has to be game. They go in for the kill, and what a setup. 29, 34 supply against 57. Death Knight already being bought back, level 6 nearly for him. What an insane first game. 33 supply for XLord. Spiral on 59. He looks fantastic right now. Doesn't have a town portal though. Needs to be careful with the Farseer. Has the Potion of Greater Healing and uses it in the last moment before he goes down here. Another quick hit against the Death Knight as he's trying to go for another kill. The Farseer in trouble though, but there is not enough mana. And the DK is down again. Level 2 Shadow Hunter right now. And that Tauren Chieftain is nearly on level 7. An absolute monster sent to punish undeads all over the world. They're trying to go for the Death Knight. That Farseer has nearly fallen. The Shadow Hunter doesn't look much better, to be honest with you. The Tauren Chieftain doesn't give a shit, of course. He just is still able to getting revived here. And what a game. What an insane first game on Terranos Stand. God, please give me 2 more of those. Already the aggression against the Lich here. It's 2 heroes against an entire army. Well, the Death Knight is actually back. He had the resources to buy him once again. The TC on 7. And there's the G as Ixie leaves the game. And Spiral takes the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series. Game number 1 was a blast. Honestly, if I get 3 games of this out of that series, then we can just close the tournament right here, and that's that. Now, I'm just kidding. This is still the round of 8, and at least the first game was an absolute blast. That was fantastic. I hope that we get a little bit more from that. And yeah, this is exactly what I had in mind when I set up this tournament together with Endgame Gear. So a huge shout out to Endgame Gear in particular, but also to AMD for supporting the tournament, for really setting this up together with me. And that first game was amazing. Let's hope that we get a bit more from the same caliber and level of play. Up to the top right on Concealed Hill, we have now XLord again, the Undead player currently down in this series. So it is a lead for Spiral that we have at this point. Spiral has taken the advantage in this best of 3. In an amazing game on Tauren Stand, and is obviously hoping to make this a quick 2-0 against his Undead opponent. If he can pull that off, that would be just great for him. He would move on to the semifinals, gather a few more points for the standings in the qualifier. And if you're interested in those standings, again, if you want to know what the ranking is, after every single tournament, the ranking points are updated shortly after, and you can find those on the website. You can go to endgamegear-masters.com and click on playoffs, click on the grand final, and there's a list that you can have a look at where the points for each player is noted down. So for now, we have the Farseer again put into play first on the side of Spiral. He had a fantastic late game on the last map. XLord is actually double checking what's going on here with another Acolyte, sending them quickly down to the bottom left of Concealed Hill. Towards the top right though, Death Knight comes in as the first hero for the Undead. So no real big surprises that we're having in the early game here at least. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that you wouldn't have expected there. XLord already trying to go straight for a little bit of an attack. Farseer is by now obviously out, and that's one of the things you normally want to figure out. What hero does my opponent start with? And Spiral doesn't even waste any time with that Acolyte at this point. It's just trying to shut this down as quickly as he can. So now one of the questions is obviously immediately, hey daddy, why didn't he attack the Acolyte first? Well, pretty simple, because if the Death Knight comes in and starts trying to take down those creeps with a quick death coil, it's super annoying. So instead he's just focusing straight away onto the creeps, and then he can deal with the Acolyte later, already setting one wolf after it. But that's exactly the thought process right here. So the Undead can't really screw with him in any way. XLord obviously not happy with the situation in the series. This is a best of 3 and he's down. He has now 2 maps where he can change the outcome, and he's going to try that immediately. Frostmourne already hungers, and the Death Knight is going to try to just, well, take that in onto the Farseer. And that Farseer is already starting to take quite a few hits here, so yeah. There's also a coil on the skeleton, once again trying to deny the experience, first of all, to his opponent for as long as possible, but also at the same time hoping to get more damage in on the Orc Burrow, and obviously keeping his opponent at the same time from creeping as well. Now the Death Knight hasn't really seen too much experience gathered up just yet. To be exact, he has 0 experience. Nada, niente, zip, zilch. But the Farseer hasn't reached level 2 yet either. The main base from the Undead player, we're seeing the Necropolis tech coming up. Fiends are already joining the fun there too. So it's once again a traditional Fiend strategy for him. But the Farseer is starting to move topside, has also the healing selves, and is trying to heal his hit point pool back up again. It's always one of the problems when you have a main hero that is already quite low in HP, that at any point your opponent might be able to get a quick hit on you, especially if you're just moving across the map and don't really see that. So for now, we're also seeing the Sea Turtles come into play, cancelling the healing cells. And yes, this one is going to yield not only experience, but also another item, Cloak of Shadows, aka money. Yeah, some items you might be able to use in the early game to a bit of an extent, but usually a lot of these will eventually end up being sold and giving you some extra money, which then of course translates into units. And we have a Circle of Mobility here. There's a couple of grunts hanging around too, and yep. Let's see if he is a bit more aggressive with this. Currently, I kind of doubt it slightly. This up to the top is going to give the Farseer even more experience. So far, so good. Spiral off to a good start here. Doing pretty well with this. I mean, right now, down to the bottom of the map, we're having the Tauren Chieftain again being put in for the second hero. Beastery is also now coming in. So both of the players are just starting to gear up slowly. XLord, as we already said earlier, prefers his tech into the Black Citadel over getting the second hero out super quickly, Can't really put that to good use anyways at the beginning of the game. It's an attempt to go for the camp, only to realize that the Orc player was already a little bit faster here. And for our last Orc in the tournament, because that's exactly what's happening, Spiral is currently the last Orc in the round of 8. The last survivor, having an attempt to go for even more experience, and so far his creep patterns are absolutely undisturbed, and he puts a quick expansion into play too. Alright. Getting the grunts out of harm's way, microing it a little bit around, making sure that he doesn't lose anything here, and going straight in for the Gnoll Overseer, whereas we're seeing the Undead player himself trying to creep one of the shops. Get a couple of items there too, and talking items, Ring of Regeneration. Yeah, the Augur Magi also about to be taken down, so XLord right now looking at a level 2 Death Knight. Level 3 already on the Farseer, and decent items too. Has obviously a Scroll of Speed as well. And the idea is once more to just level that Tauren Chieftain. Has again that Ring of Regeneration, which is going to make his life a lot easier. And the Farseer is going to try and harass a little bit and shut down the Scout. Nice! Gets the Scout completely shut down, which means that this expansion is going to be a mystery for a little bit longer. And that can be a problem for XLord. Because obviously XLord can always check items and kind of try and figure out, okay, which spots have been grabbed by my opponent, where has he already taken down the creeps. But at the same time, you don't really know if there's an expansion or not. And once again, the Farseer just sitting here. Did he actually see that skeleton? He should have been able to sniff that out, but he's just trying to go for some aggression by himself, so he's not shutting down the Scout here. Would have also been a bit of a problem. So XLord is going to find out what's happening, but it is going to happen a little bit later than he probably was hoping for. The expansion towards the top left is now also getting attacked. There's a level 3 for the Death Knight, but we have a Spiral in the main base. Gonna summon those wolves in just a second. Nope. No wolves for him, not just yet. Going a little bit too deep. Those Rubian towers are always a pest if you're trying to go into an Undead base. One of the reasons why nobody really wants to fight in an Undead base in the first place, just simply because once you have the Black Citadel, that in itself is obviously a massive tower, and you have also Rubian towers everywhere. For now we have with the double hero, also a bit more action against the Farseer on level 3. Keep the last game in mind when the Farseer overextended it a little bit in his attempt to shut down the creep attempts of the Undead, and was taken down by the Lich and Death Knight combo. Talking about taking things down, that Rock Golem is about to be taken down. Let's see who's going to get the item for this one. Seems like we're going to have the Tauren Chieftain with another one. Yep, that's the case. Loses a raid in the process on the other hand, but Potion of Greater Mana is not really too bad. It's actually pretty fantastic for the Tauren Chieftain. And it's not only that you get the item, you deny to your opponent, could have gotten it instead. So 40 supply for Spiral. XLord is sitting at 36. But the expansion is in play. Isn't really doing a whole lot just yet. So this is obviously always the problem that you have. You have a lot of cost that you are just putting up. You have to get the extra PNs. You have to make sure, nice move again by XLord here, getting the isolation on the camp, and can now attack the Orgalord pretty safely and make sure that he doesn't really suffer too much damage. But as I said, you have to actually put up the money in order to build that base in the first place, and that's also a little bit of time lost. So it comes at a cost, and you still need quite a bit of time to make up for all of that. Great item for XLord again, Ancient Django of Endurance, attack rate and movement speed advantage is always amazing. And with this, we're also having a Scout on the other side. That's a one of mana stealing that we actually have. But the Goblin Laboratory Scout already revealed what's happening there. And now the attempt to go for the left side, where the Red Drake could now also be picked off. XLord has so far not really made a move for this one. Having a bit of scouting going on, as we actually see a Pion moving up to the top. And there's the Pit Lord. Alright, yep. We have the fat guy in action. The man that is so fat that not only throws chain lightning, bounces 3 times on him, but also he can block himself. Or at least that's what it feels sometimes. There's obviously those who say that there's a problem of passing in the game itself, but I think that's all just myths and rumors. It's instead the Pit Lord just being a little bit too thick for things. In this case, on the other hand, he's already going straight in. He has the Howl taken as the first one, and this is going to be a fun one. I mean, again, if you're going... Spiral with a Watchtower, okay. So one of the advantages that you obviously have if you go into Pit Lord is that you can just buy him at the tavern. You don't really have to wait for it to be trained in the in the altar itself, so you can oftentimes attack a little bit quicker. You have another beefy tank also at the front line and will have cleave damage there eventually, but you can go for a quick attack. And I really like moves like this one, just putting one turret in here or one tower, because XLord has to react to it. I mean, there's no attempt to even hide it. It's just you basically saying, hey, there's a problem for you, deal with it. And it doesn't really cost him anything either, because he can always just cancel and then he's still Gucci. But at this point, XLord had to send a couple of units over. Now he himself is trying to take down the Red Drake here and level his units a little bit more. And that Red Drake is dust and gives us the Boots of Khaldor. Not really the item that you're hoping for when you're going for the move here. The Ancient Django has now been taken. We have the Orb of Corruption too. And there's the attack from the Orc player. And this is fantastic for him. Honestly, for Spiral, this is just... this is brilliant. There is no way for XLord to attack. There's absolutely nothing that he can do about it. So this attempt is already shut down. So XLord will have to try that again. And that really forces his hand, because he needs to try and at least damage the space down here at the bottom. And Spiral obviously has a town portal that will help him to just move down and take this apart. But instead, he's actually trying to go for a counter-aggression. He's trying to force XLord to TP, and that should work out. The thing is, though, that XLord at least takes down those peons, and that was an important move. So as the portal comes in from the Undead player, we have immediately the counter portal from his opponent. But it also costs one of the headhunters his life, and with that, the expansion down here at the bottom might still be fine, but it isn't mining right now. And there's only 2 peons, so he has to rebuild the peons that he just lost. Both of the players lost one town portal, so this expansion hasn't really done as much for Spiral as he's really hoping for. But his shutdown on the expansion attempt of XLord towards the top left, that was a big deal. That actually helped him a lot. And XLord is now at 50 supply. Against the low upkeep army that we're seeing from Spiral, who has crossed over into the 61 supply already. An attempt to go onto the left side to take another Red Drake. He already took one down earlier, and he's trying to go for the second one here. More big items for him. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for Spiral, who instead focuses attention towards the right side of the map and didn't achieve anything there. In comes the Scout with a Wolf, but that's too late too. And the Death Knight comes in. And what do we get in items? This time, another aura. Double aura now in terms of items that has been found by XLord. So he's rocking a triple aura here. The Lionhound of Stormwind in play. A bit more of experience for him too. There's 2 level 3 heroes for the Orc player, whereas we're seeing for the Undead, Death Pact, skilled on level 4 that he just reached. Level 3 for the Lich, and level 2 with Cleave now also being available on XLord's Pitlord. No town portals here, and here comes the fight. Nova immediately again. Once more 50 against 67 supply, so the army definitely a little bit stronger for the Orc player. But again, the Howl of Terror coming through any second. Once again, as we are seeing another statue going down and one destroyer taking to the skies. We're still having XLord with a Lich, a little bit low on mana, but one more Nova is still available for him, so he can use that through. But it's starting to become a bit dicey for XLord. He's really starting to lose a lot of supply, and nearly the Lich too. The surround against the Pit Lord and the Nova. Sorry, the Coil saving him for now. The Nova on the other side from XLord's Lich, but he lost basically his entire army. 41 supply. Death Knight has the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Another Coil saves the fat guy, and here's the town portal. He has to move out and catches everyone with this. Top left. Oh my god, the Pit Lord has actually fallen. My bad. As the portal comes through, the Pit Lord is down. The expansion is fully mining again. And despite the fact that XLord has the aura items, he is now in trouble. There's another fiend in the belly of one of the Kodos as it gets devoured. Obviously now the attempt to go down to the healing fountain and help himself with the Fountain of Health here being used by both players now. But experience tells us a pretty problematic story from the perspective of the Undead player. Supply numbers, I mean. 47 against 70 now. And yes, the heroes, they might be what can change this game in the long run, but at this point it's just not really happening. Frog, by the way. So a little bit of a Mexican standoff that we have between the Frog, the Acolyte, and the Wolf. Could be the beginning of the joke, to be honest. Frog and Acolyte and the Wolf walking through. Either way. Spiral at the bottom of the map has now to portal out again. And thanks to the speed bonus, he might be able to get away. And yes! No! There's the catch! Ah, those raiders. He has the potion of lesser invulnerability and uses it immediately, but now the entire army gets caught, and for XLord this is a massive problem. The idea was obviously to force the TP and then simply move away with the help of the Unholy Aura, but now that we're seeing those raiders just throwing one ensnare after another, that is starting to become pretty difficult, and especially if the Lich would fall here, that would be a total disaster. Surround attempts, and this time the Death Knight is caught. As the Death Pact tries to break free, they're taking down one of the raiders, but there's the stun, and there's the game, as XLord realizes that this is it, and Spiral takes game number 2 and wins the best of 3 series with a 2-0 victory over his Undead opponent and moves on to the semifinals. GG, and well played as Spiral takes the map in the match. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary. The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind, though, that this does not only mean more work for me, but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Tauren page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support, and see you guys next time.